Hi, well, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing wonderful. Glad to be on your podcast.
Yes, it's great talking to you. I'm very honored to talk to you as well. You have quite a curriculum behind you, and I've actually watched some of your movies. I've interviewed the Kendrick brothers several
Mm-hmm.
times, but I think my last interview with them. Well, no, we did talk when they produced The Forge, but
Okay.
I did talk to them about Show Me the Father, who I know, where I know that you were the director, right, for
Yes, I wrote and
Show Me the
directed that
Father.
film. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Well, welcome to God-Sized Stories.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So I have known your work, but first time I meet you, so I am very interested and excited about talking about this particular project. Of course, it impacts so many people, and I am a daughter. My daddy just passed last year, so I know the importance of having a good, solid relationship with the earthly father.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know, Rick, the pronunciation of your last name, is it Altizer? Altizer?
Altizer. Mm-hmm.
Altizer.
Altizer. Mm-hmm.
All right. So Rick Altizer, he is an award-winning film director, recording artist, producer. You have for sure heard his music or some of the music he produced. You also produced, I think, the comedian. Oh my goodness,
Shonda
she's
Pierce.
Shonda Pierce as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I did three
She,
movies with her. Yes.
I love her as well. And so we are talking today about this new movie that was, I think it was in theaters in March, right?
Mm-hmm. March 17th and 18th. Yes. 2 nights.
Right. And next week it's releasing on streaming.
Well, it's available right now.
Oh, it is already
Right
available.
now. Hecallsmedaughter.org. You can get it right now. You can
Oh,
license it in your church and watch it today.
that's
Please
amazing.
do.
Yes, please do. I was told that it was April 20th, but so it's already available on
Th-
streaming
They
platforms.
let me have it a little early. They let me, usually you have a 30-day window where you have to hold it
Hmm.
back, and they let me
Yes.
have it a week early so that I could, because it's very expensive to make a film and
Oh,
market a film. It's very expensive. And so they're wanting to help me out, try to help me break even.
that's incredible. I'm so happy that you were able to do that. Well, talk to us a little bit about He Calls Me Daughter. Uh, for people who are hearing about it for the first time, how would you describe what it's truly about?
He Calls Me Daughter is a film that's specifically focused to help women who have a father wound. And then so many times we will project onto God traits of our earthly father. And so we will struggle in our own walk with God. And a lot of that is a result of a father wound because we're projecting onto God traits of our dad. For instance, many women have seen the film and said, well, I never really knew I had a father wound, but after I saw the film, I understood why I was doing the things I was doing as a teenager. You might have a dad who was there, who was present, who was in your home, who you might say, I had a great dad, but maybe he didn't know how to affirm you, or maybe he never didn't say, I love you, or maybe he wasn't very physically affectionate with you. And so there's this sense that there's something wrong. I don't measure up. And so we become over functioning. The way I got affirmation from my dad, the way I got approval was when I did stuff. Then
Hmm.
he would approve me. So then I grow up becoming this over functioning human doing. And then we take that with our relationship with God. We never feel like we measure up with God. We're never doing enough. We're never serving enough or being enough of this or that. And I got to work to earn my affirmation. And so that's a result of a father wound.
Hmm.
That's what dad taught you. This is how you get affirmation. But that's not how God affirms us. God isn't, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So this isn't something you have to earn or work for. It's something that's designated to you. So I wanted to make the film to help women process that. And many women have strong father wounds of abandonment, abuse, verbal abuse, physically abused, alcoholism, incarceration. All these things do create deep wounds. And we had one woman in the film, which was very revealing to me. She said, I couldn't come to Jesus. I couldn't believe in Jesus because he's a man. I'm not going to worship a man.
Wow.
So this father wound was so deep for her that it even impacted her ability to come to God because Jesus was male.
Isn't that incredible? These are things that a lot of us don't unpack at all. Right? Many people would go their whole life having issues with the relationships with other men, and they don't ever impact. And this, they don't ever unpack this truth, right? That their relationship with the Father has been not only affecting their relationships with other men in their life, but also their relationship with the Father. And this is kind of like also the same thread that you weaved throughout Show Me the Father, the Kendrick brothers documentary, right? It was actually an award-winning documentary. So tell me, how did your experience on that film influence He Calls Me Daughter?
Oh, that working with the Kendrick brothers, it was amazing. They have a heart for mentoring and teaching. They have a teacher's heart. So throughout the film, Stephen Kendrick is teaching and encouraging. And he said, we don't make films, we make ministry tools. And that really helped me to understand. They talk about, well, there's the good idea and there's the God idea. A lot of people will come to you and there's all kinds of good ideas. It takes 3 years to make a film. And all kinds of good ideas for me to spend my time. I can make 50 films right now. They'd all be really good ideas. What's the God idea? What's the God idea for me to focus in? So many wonderful things that they communicated to me and shared with me about filmmaking and just about the heart of focus, commitment to the gospel, ministering the gospel. And I have a very similar desire for that. So yeah, working with them was a joy. And I would not be doing this film if it wasn't for them. No doubt about it. Of course, Alex Kendrick is in the film, which is great. Yes. But they're both very supportive. They're very supportive of the film. They were very encouraging. Stephen would just has spent so much time talking with me and praying with me and encouraging me. So those kinds of things in terms of mentorship, pouring into just me as a filmmaker. It's just been amazing. They're great. They're the real deal. People ask me all the time, are the Kendricks the real deal? Are they for real? They're for real. They're for real.
They are for real.
I love it.
They are the most humble servants. They really are. I just love talking to them and just getting to know their heart, as you said, and the way that they approach even. Here you are, very successful producers of incredible movies, but they are very humble, and so are you. You also have some incredible titles behind you, and but you see it as a ministry, and that's what keeps us humble, right? We understand that the success is really God's success because you're exalting the kingdom as you do movies like this.
Yeah, that's all I care about, are just films that glorify God. And I love Christian entertainment. My wife and I enjoy watching it. And they even have a designation now, a classification of films. They're called faith adjacent films. That's a category, faith adjacent. Now, by definition, if I'm adjacent to something, I'm not that thing.
Exactly.
I'm similar. I'm kind of like it. I'm next to it, but I'm not it. Yeah. And so I don't have any desire to have anything adjacent to the gospel. That's kind of like it, God bless you. Have a nice day. Right? That's great. I say that to somebody at Walmart. She's crying. She's in God bless you. Okay, I'm adjacent to faith. I've made a movie that said, God bless you, have a great day, right? And that's the end result of what I've done with that film.
Right.
And I haven't changed anybody's life. I
No.
haven't done anything to help anyone, really, other than go see a film and not feel yucky. That's it. So I'm just, this stage in my life, they're what, 3-4 years to make a film. I just don't want to spend 3 years of my life making a film that says, God bless you, have a nice day. And that's the end result of my film. I don't want to, I'm just not interested. I want to make films. You asked me a question, how the Kendrick brothers influenced me. We were talking about a film, Stephen Kendrick and I, about a Christian film that had come out, and I'd seen it. It was okay. It was a kind of a God bless you kind of film. And he looked at me, he goes, did it change your life? And I thought, that's a bar.
Wow, that is a bar.
That's a bar. And it just, when I make a film, my bar is, when you see this film, your life has changed. You're not the same person after you see this film. It's a life-changing film. That's what I want to do. That's the only kind of films I want to make.
Yeah, and also that is gospel centered, right? Like it is like the storyline is not just God bless you. The storyline is Jesus changes everything, right? That's
the power.
like
The power
has
of
to be.
salvation is the gospel.
Yes,
The gospel is the power of salvation. It's not have a nice day. It's not
Yes.
God bless you. It's the gospel that through Jesus, we have new life,
Amen.
and that we have a designation that is given to us by God of our identity. It isn't an identity that we try to find or that we self-identify. So many women don't know who they are. They're confused, and they're identifying as all kinds of things. But your identity through Jesus is given to you by God. Daughter, son, adopted, called, chosen, loved, seen, valued, validated. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Now that's a movie.
And it
Right?
changes, yes, and it changes everything.
That's a
Everything.
message.
It's not, the thing about it is like the God bless you, the God is for you, the little sentences like that, or preaching like that, even it just makes you kind of like I call it Band-Aid. It's Band-Aid religion, and when you preach through your message, whether it's a book or whether it's a movie, and your preaching is there is a God who changes everything. There's salvation, and new identity in Christ can change even the worst of ones. And that's the story behind He Calls Me Daughter as well.
Yes.
Just like, and I love it that you have both posters. Like you have Show Me the Father and behind you, and He calls me daughter.
There they are. Yeah.
God made two genders. I don't care what other people say, but it's a man and a woman. And one of the things that I talked to the Kendrick brothers, to Stephen and Alex about was, okay, well, here we are, Show Me the Father. What about the girls? And so I'm so glad that you guys
Praise God.
you guys came because it's true. We women have father wounds just like men do. There's a reason why it affects our relationship with our fathers. And during this movie, you, Rick, you portrayed different types of wounds, right? So can you tell us a little bit about the types of wounds that you portray in this movie?
Well, there's so many different types of father wounds, and but the result is the same in all of them. There can be incarceration, physical abuse, abandonment, addiction, and even the inability to connect emotionally. So there's all kinds of a range of father wounds, from terrible father wounds to, the dad was home, he was there, and you might even think you have a great dad, and he might be a great dad, but he just didn't know how to connect with you emotionally, and there's some scarring still from that. But the result of all the father wounds I found out is that it's the same. It's a feeling of not feeling validated, feeling seen, and feeling that I don't measure up, and that there's somehow in me, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And so many women have this ache. They walk around with this ache, and they can't put a name on. They don't know what it is, but it's real. It's there. And they see other women in their churches having these great relationships with God, and they go to the women's retreats and they get the books and they do the curriculums and they read all this stuff, and nothing seems to change, and they just think there's something wrong with them. And that's who I made the film for. And that is the woman. And it's not every woman, but that woman, when she sees this film, her life is going to change. This film will be a life-changing event for her, because she's going to realize, I am an orphan. I don't believe that God's my father, and I'm not identifying myself. The key core identity of who I am, the deepest truth of who I am, is daughter. That is the core of who I am. And so when I can't identify as son or daughter, then there's that ache. There's that disconnect with God, and there's never seeming to connect with him. So that's through all father wounds, that's present. In all shapes and sizes, that's present. And so many women have it. And we're just, the people who have seen the film, the comments have just been, you go on Facebook and you read the Facebook posts, it's just post after post after post. We had 200,000 comments in a week.
Yeah. And a lot of women who are commenting are people who didn't even realize that they had a father wound, right? Because a lot of us, and I had a very present father and different things, but I also can identify that there are certain things that especially like growing up, my dad was not a believer. He came to Christ later in life, but you just do realize those little deficiencies, that, sometimes they're so human, not necessarily that you have an alcoholic father or whatever, but they're so human, but little deficiencies that were so crucial as a little girl growing up. And then you see that reflected nowadays as you approach your relationship with the Father, where you don't feel like you measure up, or you don't feel like loved enough, or whatever, so it can be something very small, but it can become so big in your spiritual life that it impacts your impact in the kingdom. Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I talk to men about this, and I've been on, podcasts where guys are, well, what do I do as a dad of a daughter? I say frequently, there's one perfect father, and you're not it, right? There's one right. Perfect father. And your job as a dad is to lead your daughters to the perfect father. You can't be the perfect father. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to sin. You're going to probably create wounds. It's just going to happen because you're not the perfect father. But, the job is for men listening to this, the job is lead your daughters to the perfect father. That's your job. Not to be the perfect father, because you can't. But model Christ as best as you can and lead them to him. And, knowing that they're his daughters, you belong to God. You're God's property. Mm-hmm. We as dads get with our sons and with our daughters, we have a short time with them, but we don't own them. They're not ours. They're God's, and my job is to raise them up and give them to God. And, and say, I said with my sons, God, thank you for the privilege of being their dad, but now they're yours. They're yours.
That's right.
Now, you're their dad. You're their father. And I know you're going to lead them. They both love the Lord. They both serve God. He's a priority to them. It just doesn't get any better than that. So
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You have boys, right? You just have
I have two boys.
Two
boys. I have two boys. I have three grandsons, and I have two daughter-in-laws. And my wife, I've been married to for 40 years to my wife. And she has a father wound. So I'm very familiar with the father wound and it's, and all of its, how it's displayed. Absolutely. I'm very familiar.
Yes. And I was going to ask you this, because I know that there is a moment, right, that the lights come on and you're like, I need to write about this. I need to feature this movie. So was there a specific moment in your walk or in that you realize, this needs to be father explored, and I need to feature a movie on this
Now,
subject.
the Kendrick Brothers movie or this movie
No,
specifically?
this movie
Yes,
specifically.
I was in Rome, Georgia at the Fatherhood Commission. It was a retreat, and Alex Kendrick was speaking at that retreat. And we had finished Show Me the Father, and I had a job. I had a signed contract for guaranteed 2 years of income doing a history of the Bible. And then they sent me an email a couple of weeks before this convention, sent me an email saying, we're canceling your contract. So I would go from guaranteed 2 years income to unemployed and with one email. They didn't even call me, just an email, and I'm unemployed. So I'm at this retreat, and Alex spoke on fervently seeking the Lord. And I was unemployed. I didn't know what to do. And I went back to my room that night. I got 2 hours of sleep, and I fervently sought the Lord. I prayed, and God, what do you want me to do? And I kind of knew what he was going to say. And, God speaks clearly, Patricia, to me through his word. He clearly communicates through his word. But I heard in my heart a very clear communication from God. And he said, I want you to make this film for women. Wow. And I've been talking about it with Steve, and I kept saying, we got to do this for women. We got to do this for women. And they decided they weren't going to do any more documentaries. And so my first response to that, Patricia, was, I don't want to do that. I'm a dude. I don't want to make a film for women with a father wound, and it was like, and I know what I've done enough movies to know it takes a lot to make a film. You got to have a lot of money. Yeah. You got to have support. I mean, that is, God, I'm just a filmmaker dude. I don't have Sony and what the Kendricks have, all this machinery behind them. I don't have any of that. I'm just some unemployed filmmaker. And God again spoke very clearly to my heart, said, I've given you everything you need. Go do it. And so I thought he was meaning, oh, well, I've got 2 cameras. I've got some lights. I've got some sound gear, have some friends. I knew Shonda Pierce and I knew Alex Kendrick, and, maybe that's what he meant. But, I didn't know how I was going to fund it. I didn't know who was going to be in it. I didn't know how it was going to be seen. I didn't know any of that. But in Isaiah, it says he declares the end from the beginning.
Isaiah 55.
And in 2 Peter, it says he's given us everything we need. I mean, it was like exactly what he said, word for word. He's given us, he has given, not he will, he might, he has. So God foresaw, right? He declared from the end, from the beginning, right? Because he's just on a different time zone. And I've never in my life, people came to me, what are you doing? What do you need? How much? I never asked, people started giving me money. All these people came in, and the interviews and interviews fell apart. And then this other interview came that, had I tried a year earlier, I wouldn't have been able to get that other interview. And, and God was just weaving, guiding, directing all the way through. I've never been on a film ever that God's hand was this evident, to the point that when I saw it in the theaters, I'm watching it and I'm going, I didn't make this. There's no way I did this. I didn't do this. I'm an okay filmmaker, but I didn't do this. This is something that happened outside of me. And then, we had 1 million people view the Facebook page in a day, 200,000 comments in a week. We were the number 5 movie in America both nights it was out.
That's amazing.
It was just like, okay, all right, okay, whatever. Praise God. So, and he's still doing it now. I hope you don't mind me keep going, but I'm just going to brag on God right now. I'm bragging on my Savior. It's going to be in theaters in Singapore, Estonia, Romania. It's going into Brazil. It's going into, Brazil, Portugal, Spain, France, Germany, England, Australia.
That's incredible. That's just God. That's just God.
Literally.
By the way, going to Brazil. I'm from Brazil. So
okay. Yep.
That's amazing.
We're going to get it done in Portuguese. Get it dubbed in Portuguese.
Yes.
And Korea. We just heard from Korea. Yeah. So literally millions of women, literally millions, are going to see this. Now, when I was on on my knees on that floor in that room 3.5 years ago, wrestling with God about this, I didn't foresee any of this,
No,
but God did.
yes.
God saw it. God knew it. And this is how because he's not on our time zone, he's outside of our time. He stands where you are, but he declares the end from the beginning. So he declares the future. He doesn't, if you don't mind, we'll keep going here.
No, it's
He's not wringing his hands. Oh no, I wonder what's going to happen. God doesn't discover things. He declares. He speaks it into existence. He declares what's going to happen.
Yes.
He's not going through time experiencing it and trying to figure out how to fix your life, how to solve your problems. That's not what he's doing.
That's exactly right. I love that so much. And you're talking about something that's very current for me, is this thing about trusting in just the one step, just the one step of obedience that he will hardly ever will he give a believer a vision of the entire thing, right? The entire thing that he's doing. He just tells you, trust me with one step at a time.
God owns tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's his and you can't have it.
Absolutely.
But he's given you today, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do today, right?
Yes.
You know exactly what you're supposed to do today. So one step at a time, take the next step. That's the job. We talked about so many times making this film, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You just have to take the next step. And so the film, it's so big. God can, it's just such a big thing. I couldn't see the end. There's no way. It's too big.
Yes.
But one step at a time. I mean, I had to show up. I had to do my job. There were, from mid-November to May 1, I did 6-day weeks, 70-hour weeks. From mid-November and I never got sick once.
Yes.
So I had to show up. I had to take those steps and do the work that he put in front of me. But I didn't have to be anxious about it. I didn't have to be fearful or doubt. I knew God was going to take care of it. And Patricia, I needed $100,000 by March 18th, or I was going to have to pay an additional $20,000 penalty. Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling you, I just said, God's going to do it. Because, I mean, it has been so evident. Everything is so evident. And 1 week before, the Impact Foundation, I get a $100,000 loan, interest-free. 1 week before I needed it, it came through.
That's how it works.
And I knew that he would. It's so strange. I knew that he would.
We're talking about all of this, like about how God, he will take care of us, but not only that, his word will accomplish what it is sent forth to do. And this Isaiah 55 has been, and I actually made a mistake when I said Isaiah 55. That's not the Isaiah that you were talking about, declaring the end from the beginning. But in Isaiah,
it's 48. I think it's 48.
48, I think so. But in Isaiah 55, he does talk about. I love this. The beginning. It's like, you come if you're thirsty to the waters, and you come and eat with no money, and you drink wine and milk with no money to purchase, because God is just inviting you to just obey and come to him, because he is the source of everything that we need. And we know the verses 55, 7 and 8. My ways are higher than your ways, my thoughts. But I love it that, after those verses that are so famous, he says, as the heavens are higher from the earth, but he says, as the rain and the snow come down from the heaven and water and do all its job, and it doesn't come back before yielding fruit. He says, so is my word that goes from my mouth. It will not return empty, and it will accomplish every purpose to which I send it. If God is calling you to do something, you don't have to bring money to it. You just come with the thirst and with the desire to obey. And if he has said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I love your testimony of just this entire movie. You wrestled with the Lord in the secret place. He just said, one step, and look at this, 3.5 years later, what he's doing.
I've given you everything you need. Just go do it. Take that first step. Just take a step, one step at a time. And he directed every step. So this is God's film. He's doing this. This is the when I made it, our ministry impact was our focus. So everything from the very beginning, I knew it was going to be, we're giving away a free 6-week curriculum on the website,
Yeah.
hecallsmedaughter.org. We're
Yes.
giving away the curriculum for free. And I knew at that night it was going to be a movie and a curriculum. I knew they were going to go together. And now we've also got Global Counseling Network that's providing counseling services as well on our website. You can go and they can connect you with a vetted Christian counselor. So I knew it was going to be connected as a ministry tool to help churches and women's groups get together, talk about this, and just giving them a opportunity to talk about the father wound and bring it into their churches. Churches can license it right now. And so I knew that this was what it was going to be. And then as we made the film, that was our intent, was ministry impact. That's our from the very beginning. And then when we marketed the film, ministry impact. We're not just trying to sell tickets here. We're trying to change lives. Ministry impact. That drives everything. And then the belief was, well, if you have impact, then people will want to see it. And, down the road somewhere, I'll break even down the road. God will take care of it. And he has taken care of me. He has,
Yes, he does.
He will. He'll take care of us. I haven't paid myself in a year and a half, but that's okay. He's going to work all that out.
He sure will.
He will.
Yes.
He will.
Listen, I am with you. We are at a year and 4 months unemployment situation with my husband, and God, you just see God's hands of faithfulness. He provides for your needs as he says that he will. You just stay faithful one day at a time. And I feel like, I don't know if you agree, Rick, I feel like as I get older, the older I get, I feel like the Lord is squeezing me more. It's that whole thing about squeezing the grapes to produce the perfect wine. It's just like squeezing me more, make me more dependent on him.
Yeah.
And
well, that's sanctification. That's
is.
the work of sanctification, and that's ongoing. We're justified. That's once and done, right? We're justified, and that happens one time only, and that's a one and done for eternity.
Yes.
And you're justified for all eternity. Praise God. Yeah. But our sanctifications until we're face to face. I mean, we are being squeezed. We're being conformed and transformed into the image of Christ, right? Yeah. And so that's our work.
Yeah, that's the pressures of this life that God allows in our lives is exactly that's the purpose, right? Is to make us more like Christ and the impact that it does to the kingdom of God. So, wow, what an amazing! Listen, y'all, this is a great movie. I'm gonna leave, of course, all of the links for y'all to watch it, to connect with Rick and his team and these incredible resources that are on the website. All of that's going to be on my show notes for sure. But go download this movie, go stream it. Tell us where it is for people.
Hecallsmedaughter.org.
Yes. And
you can, everything you need is right there. You can watch the film there. You can purchase. And when you purchase, that helps support us. That helps us to keep, because it's not it's cheap. It's not cheap to do this. So that support really helps. Churches can license it here. You can share it with your churches. You can get a free 6-week curriculum. There's also a free 6-day devotional on the Bible app that we've got a link to that, and counseling services. So, I mean, that one place it's all there.
That's amazing. Well, Rick, what a pleasure to talk to you about this incredible project. It is, to me, it's just the perfect, and if you are on YouTube watching this, or if you are on the podcast platform, I have an interview with Alex and Stephen Kendrick about Show Me the Father. You just have to scroll down. I don't remember which season it was, but it's great pairing with this interview with Rick. We all have to be aware that a lot of the issues that we have not just psychological, emotional issues, but even with our faith, that they can go back all the way to a father wound, whether you're a man or a woman. And for the men who are listening to this, like you are a father, you are an uncle, you are a friend to. So this movie is not just for ladies, not at all.
Absolutely
It
not.
definitely is for the man who want to understand women better, understand why we operate sometimes the way we do, and also for fathers who want to give their best to their daughters and to point them to Jesus, as Rick said. So I love this conversation, Rick. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much
Patricia.
for taking the time, and we'll be in touch. I'm sure God's gonna give you another incredible project in that
We'll see. We'll
secret room.
see. Right now, just wanting to steward this, getting it into
That's right.
film nations all over the world and
Yes.
helping disciple these women who have now come to the Facebook page. He calls me Daughter Film Facebook
Yes.
page. And
Yes.
we have 55,000, 56,000 followers on that page just in a month,
Yeah.
in 2 months, two
Wow.
and a half months, from
Yeah, and
zero to 56,000.
that's amazing. I'll put that page also on my notes so that
Great.
people can go and link that. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for this time, Rick. God bless you. And may he continue to increase your territory as you bless him with this message and others that he will entrust you with. God
Thank you,
bless you.
Patricia. Thank you.
You're welcome.